How are you, Q? How's your new life after the tournament and with your new club in Serbia?
It's good. Oh, I felt like it's definitely been interesting coming off of like the high of the tournament. It took me a while to be like, okay, back to normal life, but it's been good.
All right, that's nice to know. So Q, so talk to me about your football journey. So I've read that you've also played cross country and track in high school, but what made you fall in love and commit to playing football or soccer?
Yeah. I think it's always been soccer, like from a young age. I think I started playing when I was like 7. No matter what, it's just soccer was number one.
All
Took
right,
the
so
reins on any sport.
what does it mean to be able to represent the Philippines? And were you heavily influenced by your Filipino parent, or how did that decision to commit came about?
What it means to me, for me to like represent the Philippines, it means everything. Like it's honestly, it's such an honor and a privilege to be able to play and represent a country and all the people in it. And my journey with the Philippines team, it started when I was a junior in college, and we had like the tryouts in California, and I went through that. And I remember that being like the first instance or moment when I felt really connected to my Filipino roots. And like obviously I had my family's Filipino, and so like on my mom's side, and um, and I would just say like that was the first instance, like being a part of the Philippines team was the first instance where I actually felt connected to my Filipino roots, just because growing up I grew up more in connection with like my Mexican side, just because my grandma from my dad's side took care of me growing up. So like I would see my Filipino grandparents here and there, but I wasn't like with them constantly. I would just see them like on the weekends. And so yeah, so being on the Philippines team, playing for the national team, it just really helped me see the connection for myself, like where my mom was from, where she grew up, the culture of that. And my mom didn't really like heavily influence me to like join the national team. Like when I was going through tryouts, she wasn't like, you have to make the team or nothing like that. She was just like really excited for me, really supportive. And so yeah, when I made the team, she wasn't like overly like excited about it as well. She was just like, yay. Like my mom is a very calm person. So yeah, she's just really excited. And even my family from the Philippine side, they're just really happy to see me in like the national team. So they always just support me no matter what.
Right, sounds good. I'm glad you made that decision. Yeah, you're with us now.
Me too.
All right. So in the previous episode with Serena, because we talked about how close you are and um how you bonded while you both were playing in Japan. She mentioned that I'm not sure if you were supposed to play together in Taiwan or you did play together in Taiwan because there's just little to no information about it. And then that was during the pandemic. And then you played in the WPSL and then Japan and then now Serbia. How was that journey like for you? What were your challenges or major takeaways that you can share?
Shout out to Serena. Love her. She's my girl. But yeah, as you mentioned, we were supposed to play in Taiwan. So we both signed our contracts, and then COVID happened. So we didn't actually go there and play at all.
Oh,
It
that's
was just
why.
like yeah, it was just like, okay, we signed it. You're going to play there. Psych, you're not going to play there. And so it was just funny going through that. And then going through Japan, going to, or thinking about going to Taiwan, then going to Japan, and then now in Serbia. It's been a journey. It honestly has. And I think the
Right,
biggest
right.
challenge, yeah, the biggest challenges that I've like faced going from like country to country was just obviously like the language barrier, not knowing what anyone's saying. I think that is like the main thing that I struggled with. And even though like I would have like translators or sometimes they wouldn't be there. So I would just have to like figure it out on my own. So I got really good at like picking out things in my surroundings, in my environment, and trying to piece together what's happening. Since I didn't have like that verbal communication, I would just look at people's body movements, what's going on. Like if we were in training, I would see where the cones are, where my teammates were positioned, trying to piece together what we were doing. So it kind of was like a giant game of charades the entire time. And so that I would say is the biggest challenge. And like the major takeaways that I would say is that I've learned to find comfort in being uncomfortable. And I mean, I'm still learning. So if anyone has tricks or things that I can try to help me out, send them my way. But definitely being comfortable, being uncomfortable, I would say is the biggest thing. And trying to find like the positivity within that discomfort, trying to find the silver lining, um, just trying to find those little pieces of happiness that make me feel like, okay, this is my new home. This is what I'm trying to do to grow. How can my discomfort now help me in the future? So stuff like
Right. And I, well, just basing off from that, I that would definitely make you, more sensitive and observant, I think.
definitely made me
Yeah.
more observant. Definitely.
Okay, so different clubs, Q, and then different countries as well. Could you compare, or what's the difference in terms of skill level playing for skill level required when you're playing for the national team?
I would say like just from national team to club team differentials, I would say like the intensity of it. Sometimes in like a club team, wherever you're at, like sometimes the level isn't as high or is as intense as a national team. Obviously, people are still fighting for positions, fighting for spots, but like in a national team, like you have to be on your top game every single training. Like you can't take a day off whatsoever, even in recovery sessions. You're trying to be the best you can, recover as fast as you can, so you're able to fight for your spot. So I think that's the main difference that I saw in like the intensity of everything.
Gotcha. And then like stylistically, the difference, because you played in Japan, and from what I've seen, when it comes to like Southeast Asian football, is very organized and technical. Would you say the same compared to your experience there in Serbia and playing in the US?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that statement. Southeast Asia, Asia in general, they're very, very technical. Like in Japan, I was honestly taken aback. Like I always knew they were technical, but like actually being in it, I was like, whoa, I gotta tune up on my technical abilities. Not gonna lie. And then so yeah, they're very technical, very organized. Everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing, where their spots are, this and that. And then I would say the difference between that and like now in Serbia and with European style, um, I would just say they're not as technical. Well, obviously, some players are very technical as well. Um, but I would just say, well, the main difference that I've seen so far, like I haven't really been in Serbia for that long yet, but playing with my team now, I would say the biggest difference that I've seen is just they're so passionate about their football, the players and even the fans, like they're crazy. Honestly, we had a tournament in Macedonia, and there was a group of supporters of Red Star, my club, that came out and were at the tournament cheering us on. They were literally singing and dancing the entire game. Like they weren't quiet at all. They were like taking off their shirts, waving it around. It was crazy. They were like lighting sparklers. It reminded me of the Ultras Filipinas when they were at our game. Like it was crazy. So that's just the thing I've seen. They're very, very passionate about their football, and it shows like on and off the field.
Yep, gotcha. Yeah, Jelly. Okay. 4 years with the national team now, 34 appearances and 17 goals. What's the most memorable thing about playing for the Philippines so far, Q?
Obviously, I have to say, qualifying for the World Cup, winning a bronze medal, winning AFF. Honestly, everything we've done in the past 8 months that we've been like with Coach Allen and like the team. But I think like my most favorable or memorable thing, it isn't just one thing. I would say obviously like our accomplishments that we've done in like the past year, but it's just like you said, I've been with the national team for like 4 years now, and just seeing the growth that we've come to, especially at this point, not just like within the team, just like football in the Philippines as a whole, like just the growth of our supporters, everything. So that has been my favorite part.
Right, right. After your first experience, your first campaign with the team, um what made you come back and join another campaign, Q?
Yeah, I right after AFC, I think it was in 2019, 2018. Correct
2018,
me if
yeah.
I'm wrong. I came back and did the next tournament, which was the AFF, right after that tournament. And um, it wasn't a question for me whether for me to like return, not to return. Like being in that first campaign and actually being in the Philippines, training there for a little bit, training with the girls that have been on the team for years but prior to like what I have, hearing their experiences, it just made me obviously want to come back, continue with the Philippines team, and just training, like being in that environment for the first AFC and feeling that pride and that honor to put on the Philippine jersey, represent our country. Like I said, there was no question whether I was gonna return, whether or not I was gonna be there. And I think I was there for like I tried to be there for each tournament after that. So I tried my best to be there.
Right, right. Yeah. Thank you. So I've seen the stay at home training video sessions that were uploaded online. Um, and this happened during, well, in the middle of the height of the pandemic back in 2020 yeah, 2020. Given that this is a basketball crazy country, what will you say to a young girl if she wants to improve her skills with just a ball and a small space?
I would say if you have like the right mindset of like wanting to improve, wanting to grow, like honestly, you can do anything. Like you don't even need a ball. You could just need a small space, your body. That's honestly all you need. Just because I mean I've been there. Like everyone was there in quarantine. That's why I made that video. Because I was just in my front yard with a ball, some cones, and I was looking up videos online. Like, how can I improve my touch? What can I do to improve whatever? So I think that's like the best spot you can be in because it takes you back to your basics. Having a small ball, can you work on your touch, work on stuff individually that you know you can improve on. So just having the right mentality, that'll help you out.
Gotcha. Thank you, Q. And you're currently playing club football, so no question about your match fitness. But is there anything that you're working on yourself mentally or physically in preparation for the upcoming friendlies and even the World Cup?
I don't know. Even though I'm playing with the club now, my match fitness still needs to be improved. I think can always be improved. Um, and just with match fitness, I think anything you can improve on. I mean, I still need to hone in on all aspects of my game. I would say, but I think right now the state that I'm in, I think I'm really focused on the mental side of the game. I mean, there's so much you can do physically, but I think there's a lot of things that you can do also mentally as well. And I don't think that gets enough attention. The mental side of football is so prevalent and it's so important as much so as the physical side of it. And so, right now, especially being in a different country, I'm away from my family in the US. Thankfully, I'm here with my family in Serbia. But I think right now, um, especially coming off the tournament in the Philippines, I struggled a little bit with the mental side of the game because once I get in my head in a game, it's hard for me to get out of it because I would say I'm kind of a perfectionist. So once I make a mistake, sometimes it gets in my head and I'm like, I shy away from like wanting to receive the ball just because I don't want to make a mistake. So right now I'm focusing on trying to improve that aspect. Like if I make a mistake, can I get it out of my head? If something doesn't go my way, can I snap back and just get it out of my head? We had this saying in the in the national team where like in each practice before each training match or a game, we would all come together and we would pick a word of the day that we would focus on for like that training, that practice. And one of one of the girls said, I think it was Riley, I think she said goldfish was the word of the day, because goldfishes apparently have like a 3-second memory. So
Oh,
basically
okay.
the gist of it was like, if you make a mistake, can you just get it out of your head? Have a 3-second memory like a goldfish.
I like that.
Yeah.
I might use that too. All right. Questions from social media now, Q. So from Bolivs Bolival. Question number 1. What are Quinley's top 3 favorite goals that she scored for the national team? And question number 2, which player, non Filipina, would be her dream partner up front in a two-striker formation?
Okay, top 3 goals. I would say the first one would be, I don't remember the year, but it was the AFF in Thailand,
Hmm.
that tournament. And it was the first goal that I scored against Thailand, just because Thailand, they were like the
Oh
top
yeah.
ranked team that I've played with on the national team, and scored it with my left foot. And I just remember, like, I vividly remember receiving the ball, taking a touch, and just hitting it far post. Like, I vividly remember it. So that's why it's one of my favorites. And then, okay, I'm gonna save the funny one for the last one. The second one that I would say is my favorite is the goal I scored against in the bronze medal match in recently in the SEA
Yeah.
Games.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, it was the game winner.
Right, right.
And I don't even know how I did that, honestly. I really don't.
Really?
Sometimes you just get the ball. I knew the goal was like on this side, but I didn't like see the goal. All I know is that a defender was running at me. Serena laid the ball off to me. I like took a touch, and honestly, I knew the goal was somewhere over there. So I shot it, and I honestly don't know how I did it. So that was a cool one. And then the last one that was memorable was in the last SEA Games, the one in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was in the bronze medal match as well against Myanmar. And it was the first goal we scored, because I remember I was literally like 5 feet off the goal line. Serena crossed it to me. It already passed the keeper. So literally I had a wide open goal, 5 feet off the goal line, and I almost missed. Like, it just came off my foot, and I was right in front of the goal, and I shot it and it went side net. And I remember turning to Serena and I was like this. I was like, I almost missed. And if I was striker, if I was a striker, I would want
Mm-hmm.
Abby Wambach next to me, because
Ooh.
she's just so strong. If she comes out of retirement, um, she's just crazy. Like, her intensity is insane. And obviously, I've never played with her, never played against her, but like, you can just feel it from the TV screen when you're watching her. So I feel like for me, that'll be really good to have someone like that, a player like that next to me. But if I was playing striker, and I know this isn't like the question, but I was thinking about this a lot.
Yeah, go for it.
If I was a striker, I would want Rose Lavelle to be like my attacking mid or someone, just so she can feed me, and so we can just connect and play, because I really love how she plays. She's super technical. Just love it.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that. And from Don Don Malaga, how is playing in artificial grass in Rizal Memorial?
It was fine. Obviously playing on artificial turf for like a tournament isn't ideal, but um I know all of us got a little scraped up from the turf.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's inevitable when you play on turf. So, but the grass or the turf in result, it was like little knives though. So all of us had like cuts and everything. I'm sure you've seen like Katrina's,
Yeah,
her entire shin. Yeah, or
yeah.
Dom's. But I
Olivia's.
mean, yes, I see everybody. Yeah, so it's not ideal, but you got to work with what you got.
Yeah. Hopefully in the rumored tournament, that will be held here. Rumored, because I'm not sure if it's gonna happen, but if it happens, I think it's going to
Uh-huh.
be up north where there's grass, not in Rizal.
Okay.
Uh,
That would be
hopefully,
amazing.
hopefully it happens.
That would be lovely for our skin and our legs.
Okay, from Cali Nueva. Favorite queen being a woman she admires or look up to.
There's so many women that have like paved the way and are such an inspiration. But like for me personally, I would say my mom is one of them, and my oldest sister, Frisha. I would say my mom just because obviously she's my mother, love her to death. But also, I just think what's very inspirational is her walk in faith that she's had. And I, from like growing up until now, I can see the growth that she's had in her walk with Jesus, her relationship with God, and she's just such a positive person. She just brings happiness no matter where she goes, and it's just really inspirational to me because I aspire to be in that relationship, to get to that relationship with God and my faith. And then I would say my oldest sister, Fisha, just because she's in medical school right now, so she's studying to be a doctor, and just what she goes through is insane. Like I've always loved seeing people what they do to hone their craft and like what they do because obviously for me it's football, for her it's like her studying, her schoolwork. So me, I'm like, I'll be like, oh yeah, I went to training this day, had gym session. I was like, what did you do? She's like, oh, I studied for like 15 hours a day. And I'm like, how do you have the brain capacity to even do that? Like, it's crazy to me. Seeing that she studies so many hours a day, still has time to go in to the hospital, still be like personable and do what she does. Like, it's crazy to me. And I don't know how she does it. And it's inspirational. It's amazing.
That's all. Yeah, thanks you. I'm sure you're an inspiration to a lot of people as well. So,
Oh, thank you.
and from I think this is Ling Ling because it's Ling 2X. Who are her footballing idols growing up?
Growing up on the men's side of football, I would say Ronaldinho, just because it's amazing what he does on the ball. It's literally magic. I remember watching when I was younger, and I'm like, how did he even do that on the ball? So he's definitely one inspiration growing up football wise that I've had. And then on the women's side, it'd be Mia Hamm, because of course, Mia Hamm, of course, you have to have her there. And Mia Hamm, and as I said before, Abby Wambach, just because both of them were scoring goals like crazy. And I was always an attacker growing up. So I was like, wow, I'm trying to score goals like her. And especially Abby Wambach, as I said, she's very impactful, very intense. But how she scores with her head, any header goal that she had, she just throws her body on the line. And I would say I'm not very good with my head or in the air. So I was always like, I'm trying to be like her. I'm trying to jump as high as she can, trying to get in the air like she does. But yeah.
And also a lot of speaking of just headers, I always love seeing pictures of you near the goalpost because of your the hair. The
Yes,
hair
my
braid.
braid. My braid just is
Yeah,
it has a lot like mind of its own.
right.
I know. I've seen pictures that Mia takes and everyone. My my head is over here, my braid is this way.
Right.
Sometimes it's laughing in the face. It's just going everywhere. That's funny.
Okay, and from Keen Sanity, what position is she more comfortable playing at, as a winger or as a striker? And she says he's a big fan of yours since 2018.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you. I would be more comfortable as like a striker. But now that Coach Allen's here, I would say he's positioned our team and like our positions or our structure to where at first I started out on a wing, but like when we're attacking, I'm more central. And I like that. I think I prefer that more now just because I like playing attacking mid. I love the ball to my feet. I love dribbling more at goal. So I prefer that more so. And I love having Serena in front of me because sometimes she'll talk about it. She's like, oh, we're playing the same position. And I'm like, Technically we're not. We're not though.
All
So
right.
yeah, definitely prefer being like a winger attacking mid.
Gotcha. And this question is from me. So I always ask this question: which teams do you wish to play or not play against in the World Cup?
I don't think there's any team where I wouldn't prefer to play against. I know everyone has said that from our team. I feel like we're all ready. We're whoever comes against us, we are ready. But the teams that I want to play, I would say I want to see our team play like a top 5 team. The US, Germany, Sweden, France, England. I kind of want to play one of those teams just because I obviously it would be a great learning experience. Good takeaways from that team playing a great opposition like them. But I just want to see like where we're at in comparison to those top teams. Like how do we compare? So I'm excited to play, hopefully, one of those teams.
Right. And how confident are you playing against these top teams?
I mean, you kind of have to go in just being confident. Like you cannot go in like with an inch of doubt. You just have to be like, okay, obviously they're super good. What can we do to match that? Can we be better than that? What can we do to really compete against those teams and not just be there? Can we compete? And that's our main goal in the World Cup. Can we actually compete with these teams?
Right. And you know what? After watching you ladies in the last 2 matches in the AFF, I'm so confident now. Like,
oh, I love that.
Take on any team now, any team. Yes. I'm not worried at all. All right, Q. So, just lastly, your message to the stakeholders of Philippine women's football or Philippine football in general.
I would say to keep supporting, keep investing in women's football and Philippine football in a whole. Not just because it not only impacts us, like our team right now, but it more so impacts the future generations. I would say, all of our hope right now, the girls on the team, we hope that, what we're doing, how we're progressing, we hope that it helps inspire, it helps give better opportunities to the girls who are at home right now watching us, to those who wish to be on the team when they get older. So I would say just keep supporting, keep supporting, because support for women's football in general, it just, you can see what it does. Like just for even just speaking from our team, from how it was 4 years ago when I first came on the team, the support from then to now has grown so much, and that has helped us to, be the champions of AFF, do what we have done, qualify for the World Cup. So just imagine what it can be for those future generations if we keep building on the support that we have now.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Q. Thank you for taking the time to be with me this afternoon, your time. I'm really just getting a lot of you girls into recording, because once the camp starts, Coach Allen will be back in business, and you girls would be unreachable.
Yes, no, we know how it is. And you've been doing such a good job. I've been seeing it on social media, how you were like, okay, we have this person now. Next,
right,
tomorrow we have this person. I'm like, you go ahead. You've been working. It's amazing.
I have to. We need to sustain that energy. And then,
I love it. Yes. And your support is, you're just claps for you, because
thank you guys.
Your support for this team and just football in general is amazing. Of course, It's amazing. I see it always on like Twitter or Instagram. It's been really great to see. And I love seeing all like your podcasts, because I've been listening to some of them.
Oh,
I love.
You were?
Yeah, of course. Yes. And even like the ones that you do on my team, like it makes me learn more about them, and I'm on the team with them. So it's great insight.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Q. As long as I can do it, because I don't know how long I'll be doing this, so might as well.
Awesome.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much, Ben.
Thank you.
Too.
Bye.
Bye.